Hello, good morning and welcome to New Forest Morphs. Jad and I are very excited today. We've got some pippers on clutch 29. So if you remember, a couple of days ago we decided to cut, and Jad cut 5 eggs, didn't you, Jad? Mm-hmm. And we had one that went bad. So originally we had Toast is the cinnamon possible lace, and Giovanni is the super pastel banana G-stripe. And we know that we've got a pipper which has actually got a banana in there. So let's have a little look where we are with this clutch, and I think we'll just finish cutting the clutch. We're hoping to hit some more cinnamon bananas. They're all going to have pastel in.
There's the pipper.
So you can see the ones that we've cut, the heads are out as well on this one, and you can see that there's a pipper there as well that's been cutting like crazy. Have you ever seen an egg tooth, Jared?
No.
Because I got one from one of our friends, Mark, and Callum sent me a picture. So what I'll do is I'll go and get that picture to share with you. This tooth, I kid you not, was very long coming out.
Really?
But just have a little look at those, Jared, while I try and find that picture. And I'll show you what an egg tooth looks like. They normally come off after they cut.
I've never seen one that's pipped before, and there's been veins that have been cut while it's pipping. There's like blood on this one.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. I can't find the picture, Jazz, so we'll have to show you that another time. But yeah, so we've got another pastel banana. I don't think that's got cinnamon, but we'll just have a little look at it, Jared.
Yeah.
But
the face doesn't look cinnamon to me.
see, he's just popped himself back in again.
There's
But
a cinnamon face.
yeah. Okay, let's have a look and see what we've got. So we've got 4 eggs to cut, and then we'll just go up nicely. I like to follow the natural cuts myself, Jared, and then we can see what we've got here. And I think if I open up where he's cut here as well, that will give us an extra flap. And maybe if I follow this round, we should be able to see what we've got here and a bit more of a visual, if you see what I'm saying. There we go. So, what have we got? That's the question.
It's a pastel banana.
Pastel banana, no cinny in there, Jad?
No.
You sure about that?
Yep.
That's a really big chunky animal as well, so I think that's looks really healthy. Look, his head's popped out again. See his head popping out. So that's sweet. So let's have a look and see if this one is going to give us a banana cinny. In theory we should get at least 2 out of 10, Jared.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we'll get one more, but we'll be grateful if the one that you opened is definitely a cinny, because we've got 2 or 3 friends that want them.
Yeah, we've got 1 pastel banana cinny and then 1 pastel cinny.
Yeah.
Pewter.
Yeah. This one looks promising. Let's have a little look. It looks like it's a banana anyway. Question is it a cinny? That's the question. Thing is, with the pastel, it's going to lighten the cinny effect, Jared.
Yeah.
So what you think isn't a cinny could be a cinny.
Definitely not.
Is that one a pastel banana,
Yeah.
or is that a cinny?
Pastel banana. Cinnamon have very different pattern. Like, look at this one here.
Is that one a cinnamon?
So this is a cinnamon pastel.
Let's just open that one up a little bit and just see whether we can get a better view on it.
Really tell. And it's really clear.
Okay, let's see whether we can just open that up a wee bit more and get a good look at it. Of course, it's carrying 100% het for G-stripe, so it's carrying a powerful recessive inside it all. So I think if we just snip that a little bit, I think the pastel does lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll just
Give you a very distinct cinnamon pattern.
just give it a little bit more room to come out. So there we go.
It almost looks a cloud.
Wow. And there's your banana cinny. and it's a pastel one as well.
Yeah, and you can see the difference between that and then what you just cut.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can find its head. There's its head poking out. There we go, buddy. Hello, buddy. You're wondering what's going on here. Wow. So that is definitely a banana cinny pastel, and its eyes look fine. Later today we're going to show you the other clutch, and we've actually got our first out of 150 babies. We've had our first defect on one of the snakes, and we're going to talk about what brings that about later today, and the debates and discussions out there, and how we can avoid breeding issues like that. Sometimes you can't avoid it, and I think most breeders have experienced it, no matter what the strength of the genetics, but there are things that you can do to mitigate and to reduce the risk. And I think Jared and I are going to have a conversation later if the battery of this permits. Jared's going to keep an eye on the battery. Right, let's have a little look and see what these other two have got. So we're hoping that we're going to hit another cinny banana. Now you can see something's going to go here. Try to see how he's trying to cut there.
Yeah.
There's a cut line. It's not quite strong enough or deep enough to come through, but we will come in at this level. Now these eggs were in the incubator, Jared, that had quite a high temperature. They were going 1 or 2 degrees above what I wanted for several days when we had the heat spike, and I think that's why they've accelerated their development. But there is debate about whether or not heat spikes can cause defects in animals, and I think most breeders are saying that heat spikes can cause defects, Jared. So we'll discuss that in a second. Let's just have a little look and see what we've got there. What have we got, Jared? It looks like a banana, so we're halfway there.
That looks like another pastel banana cinnamon.
Is it a cinnamon?
Yeah, there's another pewter banana.
Wonderful news. So we did hit the two that we're hoping for. Just got to have a look and see if I can see what is going on in there. Yeah, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen, you've got another banana cinny pastel in there, and there he is. So we've hit the two that we wanted, and there's always a chance we get a third here, so we've got one for each friend and maybe one for ourselves, Jared. Mind you, we've already got one from last year, Jared, haven't we? You named him, what's his name? Django, is it? Django, yeah. So we've also got another one from last season. So if this isn't a banana cinny, there's no worries there, because we still have 3, and 3 is what we require. There we go, Jared. What do you think? Oh, there. See, he's poked his head through by himself. There's another banana. Is it a banana pastel cinny? That's the question. So he was trying to get out. You see, as soon as we opened it up, and what do you think's going on there, Jared? Banana.
Pastel banana.
Pastel banana.
No,
not the cinnamon in it, because it's not dark enough. But beautiful animal. So we've been very lucky on the banana odds. So let's just count up what we've got now. So I think that's all of the snakes that we've got from here. There's 9 out of the 10 made it. So let's just start at the top here. This is a pastel cinnamon 100% het G-stripe, and that would be known as a pewter. A pewter het. A pewter is a pastel cinnamon. This one here, Jared, not sure.
Pastel.
Is it just a straightforward pastel?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a pastel. This one here is the
I think that's a pastel banana.
Is that a pastel banana? That one's opened itself up. Can you see? Can you see all the marking on here?
Yeah, that's one you cut earlier.
Did I cut that earlier?
Yeah.
So I didn't really take it far enough, did I? Let's just follow this mark back. There we go.
Pastel banana.
Now we can see it better. So that's a pastel banana. So these beautiful bananas, all het for G-stripe, and his head's coming out there. This is one that you cut, I think, Jad, or did I cut that one? No, I cut that one. Yeah. So that one is the
pastel cinnamon banana.
Yeah. So that's two. That's the second one. So that's lovely. This one you cut, Jared. Let's have a little look and see what you hit there. Is it another banana?
Yeah. It's the pastel banana.
So after a couple of days, once everything's kind of settled down, it's okay to just open up a little bit more to see what you've got. and obviously you just gently go, because they do like to stay in their eggs for a couple of days before they come out. But actually you can see it there, Jan, no need to open any further, but you can see it's a beautiful pastel banana. So how many bananas have we hit is the question.
2, 4, 6.
6 out of 9 is pretty good, so you smashed the odds on that one. And this is one that you opened up, Jared.
That's just a pastel.
Is that another pastel? Let's have a wee look. You can actually see a bit better now. That looks like a pastel to me. Yep. So they're still absorbing their egg. So I think what we'll do, we will put those back in the incubator. But 6 out of 9 bananas is fantastic, because the banana is a beautiful gene, and they're all pastel, which makes that lovely. And we'll go and check clutch number 27 next, Jared. And this is the first clutch where we've had one defect on one of the snakes. They have come out of the eggs, and then we'll discuss what causes those defects, and perhaps get the views of some of our viewers who may have experienced some of these things. I think when you have a big collection and you've had lots of experience, you can kind of discern what is speculative and what is factual, because there's nothing better than practical experience to guide us and help us. But it's important to do your studies and do your research as well, because that can help. But I think practical experience for me, Jared, is everything, isn't it? And let's just bring out this clutch here.
I'll put this one back in there at the same
We'll
time.
put the other one back in as well. So these have come out of their eggs, so we can put them in their shedding tub soon. But these ones will take a couple of days before they're ready. So let's have a look and see what is going on here. Now you were the first one to notice, Jared, while it was in the egg. Jared's very good at picking up things. Let's just have a little look and see what we've got going on here. So, which one is it? That's the smaller one with the smaller head.
It's the fire rooster, yeah.
Can you see there's an eye missing there? So what we want to do is check to see whether there is any other defects on that animal. The pairing was a yellow-belly pied, and it was to Phoebe, who was a Russo Fire 50% het pied. We only had 2 good eggs, and we had 6 slugs. Now, straight away, Jared, when you have a clutch with slugs, it begs the question, are the other eggs completely fertile, or are there issues? So I think when you do get slugs, you've got to be careful that the other eggs may or may not have issues. So this is an experience that we've had before, and we will go back to the previous animals, because there's debates and discussions about, you know, at what level do you keep the animals going with, depending on the defects. Because we've had, actually we did have one other defect, Jared, which is we've got an animal that is severely kinked and is not unable to eat, and we're unable to assist feed it. So you've got to discuss what you do with that. Now, the humane way of dealing with it is to take it to the vet and have it euthanized. Is probably the solution to an animal that cannot feed and cannot go back on food. We had a 2-headed snake that we donated to the Natural History Museum, and they couldn't eat. They were severely kinked when they died, but we decided to donate it to the Natural History Museum as an exhibit. So there's things that you can and can't do. So let's just have a wee look and see what is going on with this clutch here. We'll bring them out and have a look at them both, see and just inspect them. There's a lot of fire going on in these genetics here, Jared. Can you see the fire?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was carrying Russo, because you can see the impact of the Russo on, particularly on this one here.
I think it's also referred to as het Russo.
Het Russo, but
Yeah,
that's a little bit
yeah.
The word het can be a little bit misleading, het Russo, because you think it's a recessive gene, but it's not.
That's why we call it just Russo.
Yeah, the Russo gene, and you can see this one's got more than just an eye defect, I think, because look at the size of the head compared to the other one, quite small, and it looks like it's slightly upturned as well. You see the nose going up. Let's have a look and see whether it's got sharp jaw, which is an underbite underneath. Sometimes you find with blind snakes, or with snakes that are lacking in one particular genetic, they can have other issues going wrong as well. So what I want to do is very carefully have a look and see whether it's got sharp jaw.
It hasn't.
The good news, it hasn't. If you look underneath, Jared, it's fine on that side. So what we've got here is we've got a snake that has one good eye and one missing eye. So it's blind in one eye, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And there you can see the blindness in that eye. Now, various breeders have got various issues and discussions as what causes this, Jared. Now, you did a little bit of research, Jared. Can you remember, you know,
the majority of them believe it's a temperature spike in the incubation process.
Yeah. Okay. Now, we did have a temperature spike during the summer, didn't we? Which could have affected it. I personally don't think it is that myself, because the temperature spike was still within the safe range. So even though it went up 1 or 2%, I think it was within the safe range. And these ball pythons are very tolerant of temperature spikes, because in our experience, we remember Jared, when you set up the first incubator, we converted a cooler, and we normally take out the compressor, but this compressor wasn't working. So Jared and I decided to leave the compressor in, and it was working perfectly fine for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden we came in and checked the temperature of the incubator, and it dropped down to ridiculously low temperatures for over a day or so, wasn't it, Jared?
Before the evening.
Yeah, it was at the evening. And we thought, oh my goodness me, and it was one of Toast's first clutch, actually, wasn't it? It was quite a lot of eggs in there. It was a cinnamon het clown clutch. And we thought, what's going to happen to those eggs? And do you know what? They were absolutely perfect, and it dropped massively. We're not talking about 1 or 2% percentage. We're talking about a cooler kicking in against the heat of the heat mats, and it was fighting itself.
Yeah.
And I think it had dropped down from like 89, literally down to about 65. Was it, Jazz? 70
Probably
maybe?
lower. It was like it was cold.
It was really cold. And all of those eggs survived, and they're all perfect. And you think to yourself, my goodness me, I did not expect that. So when people talk about their ideas about a 1 or 2 degree spike in temperature, I think when it goes over a certain temperature,
yeah,
it
the
can be an
heat.
issue. The heat's damaging,
Yeah.
but I think snakes are more tolerant on cool temperatures than they are on heat. If it's too hot, that is. So that was an interesting analysis. So looking at these, Jared, which one would you say is carrying more of the genetics?
Yeah, definitely the blind one. The one eye blind.
Yeah. Now
It's
yellow
Fire
belly.
and Russo.
Yellow belly's in the mix too.
Yellow belly.
Now, have we got anything that looks like a yellow belly?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say this one's got yellow belly?
100%.
And why would you say that, Jared?
Look at how speckled the belly is.
Yeah.
It's very pixelated.
Yeah. Fire coming up as well.
Yeah, well, that would be the fire.
Yeah. But no, there is what I call flaming rather than
Oh,
fire.
flaming, yeah.
Yeah, see the flaming coming up. So when the alien heads, if you look carefully here, you'll see there's oranges and there's colours coming up, and yellow belly produces that as well. And look how the alien heads are merging as well, which I think is the Russo. Now the Russo gene is part of the bell complex, Jared. So you can produce bells with the Russo. If you put a Russo to Russo, Super Russo would become a white snake with blue eyes, a bell. We're not planning to do that. What we wanted to do is we wanted to prove out the girl to see whether she was het for pied, and we don't think she is. But there will be pied markings on this, and the pied influence will actually have its impact as well.
That's why they're all merged. If you look at all the alien heads are really merged.
Yeah, you're looking for ringers, you're looking for tracks. I can't see any ringers on this one, Jared. But the question is this now pet quality, or would you breed with it? That's the question. And one of my mentors 5 years ago, I think we've got Alan from Southampton, Jared. He has a snake that has one eye as well, and it's grown to full maturity, full adulthood. It's a female, and he offered it to me to buy. And I asked him the question, and I said, Alan, is that going to carry on the genetics? Will it pass on to the offspring, and therefore should we not breed with it? And he was saying no. In his experience, he has bred a one-eyed snake before, and it's given him a perfectly good clutch, and everything had perfectly good eyes.
Yeah.
So the question is, there are environmental factors and there are genetic factors that affect how snakes are developing. An environmental factor, for example, let's say someone had a mite problem and the mites were getting into the eyes of the snakes and damaging and infecting the eyes, and if it lost an eye due to an environmental issue, that isn't genetic, and therefore that wouldn't pass on to the offspring. But if the genetic issue comes from overbreeding, interbreeding between families, which can also cause a problem, and I suspect that we've got a clutch that happened because we bought 2 snakes from one breeder 5 years ago, not realising that they were related, put them together, and we ended up with a whole clutch of deformed animals. And we'll show you how they're doing. We've kept them as pets. We're not going to breed with them because we believe it's genetic. Whereas I think this one here could well still be breedable, because we don't think it's a family genetic, because Wizzy and Phoebe came from 2 separate breeders, 2 separate lines, so there's no interbreeding there. So it's interesting, isn't it, Jared? So there's lots of different theories. Are there any other theories that you found, Jared, online when you were doing your research about what can cause problems? And
these are just opinions of people, but
yeah.
Someone's opinion was that if you have too many eggs in one egg box, especially towards the end of them hatching out, the temperatures inside that egg box can go up because of the CO2 produced by those eggs.
Yes. Okay, so that's an interesting one. Other theories say that opening and closing your incubator too often can cause problems. I personally don't think so.
It's the spikes. Depends what your room temperature's like.
Yeah, if you've got good ambient temperature here, we've got nearly 78 today. If you look carefully on the dial, we're running at about 78 at the moment. Even if you are opening and closing, remember the experience we had for over a day where we had a real big drop in temperature due to the cooler kicking in. All those eggs developed fine. So I think practical experience tells me that I don't think that is necessarily an issue unless it's for a sustained period and it's a heat spike rather than a cooling spike. That could be the issue, Jared. I think more of it is to do with family genetics, and overbreeding within the family can cause a problem. I think we know that from other breeding of other species, that if you, for example, parrots, for example, when you're breeding parrots, apparently I've been told that if you put 2 parrots from the same family together, all their feathers drop out. And the key is to put in new bloodlines to keep the strength of your genetics. So you can get away with interbreeding for a short period of time, for a short genealogy of the family, but I think you wouldn't want to push that more than a couple of generations or a couple of brothers and sisters going into each other. We were very blessed to produce an exantic out of a mother and son breeding, but the exantic was hidden in both of the animals we didn't even know. And when we spoke about the video about the monarch was found by 2 pastels being bred from the same small collection of a guy that was trying to produce a super pastel in the day, and interestingly enough he ended up producing a monarch. So there is an argument to say that it's actually looking at interbreeding and looking at small collections, that there are hidden genes. And my honest opinion is, I actually believe there's a lot more hidden genes in our collections than we realise. I'm not advocating that we should all do brother and sister pairings and mother and grandparent pairings, but I think 1 or 2 would be interesting to do, because we've done it here safely, and we've ended up throwing up some really interesting genetics as a result. So I think besides finding unusual animals in the wild that are showing unusual patterns in dinker projects, I think that everyone who has a collection has the chance of hitting a brand new snake, brand new genetic, from just simply breeding. So to finish the video, we're now going to show you, with Jared's fantastic assist feedings initially, but they are now eating by themselves, how we've raised our snakes that are pet quality really, which Emily won't allow us to sell because she's so attached to them. She's named them and everything. And we'll show you what they look like, and we'll show you how they're doing. But some of them one of them is completely blind, and some of them have shark jaw. But we'll just show you their size and how they're doing. So what I'm saying to you is, in extreme cases, I think take them to the vet and have them put down. I think in other circumstances, you've got to make the judgment call to keep them as pets and give them a life, and then maybe find them a good home. Or if you have a family member that, like Emily, that wants to keep them as pets because her heart is drawn out towards anything that has an underdog start in life, she's very drawn to. I think most of us are, aren't we, Jared? Our heart's in the right place, and we don't want to take them out just because they've got one eye missing, or they're blind, or they've got a small shark jaw.
And it's worth noting that they do eat normally, like they can perform like a normal snake. Yeah. Because they don't even use their sight that much when feeding.
Yeah. So a lot of new breeders coming in might think, what do we do with the snake that's deformed? In some cases it's where they're worth keeping, I think. In other cases you've got to be careful, because it might be better and more humane for them to be put down by a vet. So let's just pull out the ones that we've got, Jared. We've got a few minutes, just show you how they're doing. So the first one, Jared, I'll bring it to the table, is Pasty. Now Pasty is an absolute stunner, and we've had a couple of friends that have been offered to take him off our hands actually, but Emily won't allow it because he's so beautiful. He is a pastel cinnamon pied, And at the top, you look at that and think, could I have in my collection, please?
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen such a beautiful pied. In its simplicity. Sometimes simple genes are the way forward, Jared. And just combining the simplicity, but to get 3 saddles and the head stamp on a cinnamon is quite rare. And you can see, just look at the blushing, what the pastel does. And I'm just wondering whether there could be yellow belly in him as well, Jared. I think there's a possibility there might be even yellow belly in him. So genetically, he's carrying quite a few good genes. But then when we pick him up and you have a look and see how he looks on the undercut, on the underside of his mouth, you can see there is a massive overbite. Can you see that?
Yeah, just keep him still.
But Jared, after about 4 or 5 assist feeds, he was able to nail his food by himself, and he eats by himself now, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Now if you look at his weight, he should be twice this size, but just takes his time, smaller prey items. And we've got a beautiful genetic, a beautiful looking animal here, a fantastic pet. They're very friendly, aren't they, Joe? They've been handled a lot by Emily, so they are lovely. And I think if you do spend time nurturing and looking after your defected animals, they're actually, they've got their own beauty actually, I think, and they've got their own personalities. And I think for pet lovers particularly, I don't think we'll breed with him, which is a shame, because I think this comes from a family genetic issue, not a spike in temperatures at all. Because even though the whole clutch were slightly deformed, the rest of the eggs in the incubator were fine. So if there was a spike and there was an issue, the question I ask is why didn't it occur on the other eggs? So I think this is probably an overbreeding situation we weren't aware of. We put 2 together from an old collection that we bought into, not realising that they were probably line bred before, and that's probably what caused the issue. So we'll just put Pasty back. But I think everyone would agree he's a very beautiful snake, and let's say Emily loves him a lot. I'm not sure if it's a girl or boy. It's actually, not sure. I think it is a. Oh, we've got unknown on here, Jack. But then an F meaning female. You must have actually. So it is a female.
It's female.
Yeah.
Got 2 minutes, by the way.
Okay. And then I'll just show you the blind snake. I think would be the thing to do here. And this one is called Dusty.
Rusty.
Is it Rusty? Where's
Oh.
Oh, there's Rusty.
He's the
If you look at Rusty, now Rusty isn't as big as Pasty, but she's a beautiful pied, and they're all pieds actually, lovely genetics. But you'll see, she's blind, completely blind.
I think this one's a boy.
And this one's a boy. If you look carefully, there are no eyes in the snake, but it eats and can use its heat pits. So if you look underneath its the bottom there, see those heat pits there?
Mm-hmm.
She uses those heat pits to home in on the prey, doesn't she, Jared? You assist fed her first. She's got to take small meals. She's left bigger meals. We try to give her small multis, haven't we? And she's left them. So we're keeping her on small meals, feed her more often. She's still doing well. You can see the size on her is really good. But the reality is they're slow, steady progressions, and Emily loves her so much that there's no way we could give this away as a pet.
Pretty sure he's a boy.
Yeah,
it's a boy.
So, Jared, is there anything else you wanted to mention in the last few seconds?
No.
No? So all I'd say is thank you very much everyone for giving us love and support. We'll keep putting out some nice footage. We do have some other footage coming later in the season, and we shall put that out to you as well. And I hope everyone else is having a wonderful season. Thank you so much for your love and support. Hit that subscribe button please, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get daily updates, if we do a daily video that is, of all the videos and what's going on here. And we show the good and the bad, and I say even within the bad side of the hobby there are potential to have good pets. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye for now.